Kicking off round 4 of this tournament is going to be me, again, against my foe, Garmilator. Me playing as the Galzian, of course, like usual, and Garmilator playing as the Coalition. This is somewhat of a rematch, if you'll recall, from Kharak Cup number 1, where he beat me, murderized me kind of with LAVs on Kalash Teeth. The map, of course, was selected by the RNG gods, and this time they've chosen the Dune Sea for us to play on. And the first thing you'll notice about this map is that this dune here is, like, huge. And of course you get high ground if you're attacking down this dune here, so a big element of this map is basically to like occupy this area if you're attacking red, or to occupy this area if you're attacking green, and just try to, you know, push your opponent off of their own eco basically, using that high ground advantage. I'm spawning in the south here, and I'm putting my salvagers onto CUs as is standard. Garmilator going to be doing the same thing, probably because, like usual, he's going for early LAVs. You can see he's already gotten the tech, so have I. And I will be moving out on the map in customary fashion to try to beat my opponent with some early sand skimmers. Or at least do damage, obviously. It's pretty hard to outright beat your opponent there. Last time I played with Garmilator in Kharak Cup number 1, basically, he just rushed LAVs. He was able to beat my sand skimmers since LAVs are more powerful, and then he just transitioned into more LAVs and just kind of ran me into the ground using the base runner turret and the LAVs. I'm kind of expecting already that he's going to do the same thing. That was my thought process going in here. But my hope is that by using the high ground advantage of this dune, I can actually reverse this time. And as you can see, I've taken a very aggressive position. I've gotten up to that spot where I can get high ground on all my opponent's units. And my idea is essentially just like, even though he has more range than me, I want to try to use the high ground against him here. So Sand Skimmer's getting microed, but I'm still finding it difficult to get any kills off of these LAVs. The interaction between these units, in case you didn't know by the way, is that Sand Skimmers have less range, but they're faster. But LAVs do more damage, and so actually I can't just run on top of him because he'll beat me if I run at him and then attack him there. But if I can do damage to them, back away and re-heal, and then I can come back in, maybe I can get some kills there, whereas LAVs don't re-heal. And you can see I've gotten one of them for free right there. Turret goes down from the base runner, is going to push me off here. I'm going to get 2 LAVs now, but I lose 2 sand skimmers of my own. Now he's got high ground, he's just going to totally push me off here. And this is basically because he had the numbers advantage. That's the third interaction between these units, is that LAVs get produced faster. And so it's very difficult for the Galzian player to hold up this kind of aggression, because the LAV wins in a one-on-one fight, and you can also have more of them. So that's why this can't be like an end-game strategy. It has to be like the beginning point for a further sort of mid-game strategy, because you'll never beat your coalition opponent with his LAVs. As a result, I'm already teching into assault ships, so you can see that tech about to finish. Meanwhile, Garmilator's still on LAVs. He has, however, killed off my entire army, which I feel a little uncomfortable about, to say the least. I almost got that LAV right there, but he narrowly escapes. But I'm going to try to save this situation by producing armored units. However, you can already see some economic damage being done here as he's pulled off 2 of my salvagers from their mining position. This production cruiser still has loads of health, so I'm not really worried about it going down to these LAVs just yet. And with armored ships being made here, I'm hoping to be able to push up, but there's a base runner turret here which is going to be able to zone me off. This is one of the great difficulties that we Galzian folk have against our coalition opponents. You can see I haven't really mismicroed at all yet, and yet I'm still pinned into my base already. However, this assault ship spawning in at quite a fortuitous? There you go, fortuitous time. Gonna be able to get some more damage onto these LAVs, but they do pick off a salvager before they're kicked out. However, I've got 1 extra salvager over here, so still no serious economic damage been done yet, but the denial of this long-distance mining is noticeable. If you look at Garmilator, for example, he's actually only got 2, so not so much of a disparity right there, but a little bit already. Second salvager goes down, but still no salvagers missing from this main line here. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to extract an artifact here. Looks rather uncontested, and I think Garmilator's going to let that get through, because of course if he moves all these LAVs out, this turret would fall. and I'll be able to break the hold, basically. Second turret being put down for the base runner, and basically I just want to deny this, and so I'm going to run up here with the assault ships, get the one turret. This is probably an overextension, but I'm sure I can get this second turret here, and I will, but at the cost of another assault ship. And so, in fact, these LAVs really going for blood. They want to get this one too. But it looks like they're going to think better of that and back away. This assault ship probably should follow suit and back off. The LAVs, knowing that their hard point based on these turrets was taken out, are just going to try to rush down this base runner and see if they can stop the extraction. But it looks like from the distance that ought to be able to get through, doesn't it? That base runner ought to be able to extract, although the brave pilots are going to have to give their life for that one, of course. What's the tech looking like now? Refinery mode coming out for me, railgun fabrication finishing for, or being started for Garmilator. You can see him tossing out the scanner there. Might as well, right? Buy a little bit more time. That is going to extract, but very narrowly. However, that's going to be mega relevant because now I have power to put into speed and weapons as well on my carrier. Refiner mode finishing in about 9 seconds. I'm trying to get a bit more map presence, but another turret goes down from the base runner, and also I don't really have the military for this yet, so not totally sure what I'm doing pushing in there. This sand skimmer finding himself in a nice position over the dune from the turret. He's going to be able to, well, until he chooses to get himself killed. A bit of a missed micro from me there. Was getting some good damage on this base runner. It's probably going to stop the extraction, but it doesn't look like it now. Although actually what I could do is really just send like one sand skimmer right like there. And that one sand skimmer would be enough to stop the extraction. These guys here going in, totally sacrificing themselves. That's not very appealing. But they are pulled out in time, so they're not going to get killed there. This is definitely a miss micro here, though, trying to move these sand skimmers in, because really they're just going to get killed. And actually now these LAVs have found a very nice window into the back of my base. My sand skimmers finally getting shots off, and these LAVs are super wounded because they've been fighting assault ships this whole time, so some of them are going to go down, but still a good trade for Garmilator. However, they do look quite out of position now, don't they? And in fact, assault ships with high ground even going to do some mega damage to these LAVs. Probably one of them will go down, but I'm okay with that. They've already definitely proved themselves worthwhile. Excuse me. Actually, one of them could have been microed out over this dune right here, although it's a little difficult to see that geography. Yeah, that's the word. Geography from this position. Although the turret doing some huge damage on these assault ships is just going to kill it off entirely. Turrets are so strong. These 5 LAVs are damaged enough that these 5 sand skimmers can take them, of course, but not if they're underneath this turret here. Still looking like a very tense game. Garmilator making a couple railguns now. Interceptor fabrication finishing for me. Interceptors are pretty good at taking out these turrets because, of course, turrets don't have anti-air. So if you can get the LAVs to focus on sand skimmers over here or something, you can just kind of run in and kill them. The sand skimmers here now parking on the other side of this hill, trying to stop these LAVs from pushing over. Look how steep this hill is, by the way. Actually, like, even battlecruisers and stuff can drive across this hill. It looks hilarious because they're tilted at like a 60-degree angle, and yet somehow they're still staying on top of it. These assault ships here are going to find their life a little bit difficult when a railgun pops out, although they are interested in taking out this turret, it seems. Although this is the second one. Stupid turrets, man. They get me so tilted sometimes. Sand skimmers are going to target the second turret. That's got to be a mistake. All of these sand skimmers are going to go down here if they keep fighting underneath this turret. Actually, the turret goes down. That looks a bit more convincing than I was expecting. This base runner taking some damage too. Base runner's gonna go down, so that means no more turrets, at least for a small amount of time. The sand skimmers definitely gotta get out of there now. Oh, where are you going? Yeah, that's right. Sand skimmers had better get out of there. However, the only thing to contest with these assault ships is this one singular railgun, and so things are honestly not looking bad at the moment. And railgun fabrication now coming out for me. Air tech was finished, although you'll notice I'm not building any air units just yet. There's another turret here that's going to stop me from attacking Garmilator very much. Excuse me. These sand skimmers here, tired of this whole life thing, they're ready to die. Or at least one of them is. Turrets are just so powerful against sand skimmers. It's basically like one-shotting them. And these sand skimmers got a bad rally point that would send them into the arc of that turret. Hopefully I'll notice that before they run out there. Looks like at least one of them is going to be hung out to dry though. Assault pack is finished of course, so Garmilator can chase the... Oh, actually it's on cooldown though, but... So the sand skimmer is going to escape with his life, but just narrowly. Sand skimmer's trying to go in for the chase here, but they can't close the range on those LAVs, and they're going to take 2 losses for nothing. You see me instinctively trying to click to get him to move back, but of course I can't do that as the observer, can I? Interceptors now beginning to be produced, and the sand skimmers are getting fully upgraded. LAVs, meanwhile, are not. They've only got armor 1. So some good damage being put down here by these sand skimmers, although if this battle had happened, 6 seconds later, this would have been even more in my favor. The turret's going to start chipping in damage, though. Kills the sand skimmer and does some more damage onto another one. There's now 4 railguns on the field. That starts to become pretty relevant against these assault ships, but there are air units coming down the pipe pretty soon. Another base runner being produced by me, so it looks like I want to maybe get some artifacts out here, and I've got now 3 production cruisers. Things look actually quite stable. My economy is doing quite well. Garmilator's on 3 bases, but I'm about to get on to 4. As you can see, I already have the production cruiser in position. I just haven't started producing the salvagers yet, but with 4 production slots available, that shouldn't take very long. 2 interceptors finished now, and siege cruiser tech is going to be my next tech choice. Garmilator is still sticking to railguns and LAVs, and he is powering up that carrier like he often does. Actually, he's only on 2 base economy because of that, because he's going to use this carrier as a weapon. So sacrificing a bit of economy for some more aggression here. But that's going to be very effective because this carrier is going to be able to push all of these assault ships and whatever out of this area. And it'll be rather difficult to deal with. So my answer to this is probably going to be siege and rails, but we'll have to see. Garmilator's whole hold basically on this area at this point in the game is based on this carrier and what it's able to do zoning me out. Of course his LAVs are now quite a lot worse punch for punch than these sand skimmers are. But if they're just near this carrier, they're going to do very, very well. Looks like that's going to be the case as I run in here. Yeah, I'll think better of that one and move these away. There's 1 heavy railgun out on the field. That's all I need, man. Just 1. That's all it takes to kill a carrier, right? Interceptors being launched, although I don't like the launch position because they're going to take quite a lot of damage to LAVs if they fight over this field here. Sand skimmers are running in here, but they're going to take a lot of damage to this carrier. Again, they notice it and they begin to pull back, but certainly too late. There's quite a lot of railguns for for Garmilator as well, and so I can't out-railgun my opponent, if you will. That's just not going to be the case. These assault ships beginning to feel rather useless. But once the siege cruiser finishes, things will be a little bit different. And I am on 4 base economy. I have 3 production slots available, so I may be able to push this off. It's going to come down to how quickly I can get a force up that's actually able to deal with this carrier. But things are looking very, very tense from my side. 1 railgun going to go down for naught, it seems. Oh, and look at this. The LAVs are parked on the high ground, but the sand skimmers are just kind of sitting here. And a cruise missile comes in, cleans up that second base, although crucially the production cruiser does not go down. But these LAVs now, they've killed all of these sand skimmers, and they're just going to run in here. The siege cruiser is about to finish. Railgun's getting picked off by the interceptors. I'm still in this, but it's looking a little risky now. This 3rd production cruiser stands to go down, in fact. And this one's so damaged already, you could then follow it. What's going to happen here? Railgun pops out only to be killed instantly. That was not the right thing to be building at the moment. These assault ships here trying to get involved because, of course, they're very good against these LAVs, but it's going to be dangerous with railguns on the field and, of course, this super carrier running around destroying everything. But this carrier is getting critically low on health. And there is now a siege cruiser out on the field. Garmilator probably ought to just power up the armor and get out of here, because he's going to be taking a lot of damage pretty soon. Look at the damage on that carrier. No production cruisers have gone down just yet. That carrier now at 3,333 health, that's pretty cool. Another shot will hit it, which kind of ruins the effect there. It's going to back away for some repairs. Sand skimmers, I don't know what they're doing here. They should really not be in this area. This is not a good place for them. And so Garmilator's been pushed off. Gives me a bit of room to breathe here, but I need to get my economy reset up, get a big army up real quickly. Probably another production cruiser would be a good choice for me now. These sand skimmers just keep running up there and getting killed. That's quite poor. The LAVs are coming in here. Barrage goes down right there. The LAVs are going to dodge it quite nicely. They've cleaned up so many railguns now. Going for this production cruiser now. Assault ships being produced, clearly in response to this. But this is looking pretty dangerous. I'd love it if I would, move this production cruiser over. That's definitely the right choice there. These LAVs just being so annoying, nothing can fight them from here. They just have the range on everything. Now the economy's somewhat in shambles for me. This base about to be mined out. No one mining from this base or from this base here. These railguns from Garmilator have got the high ground, but they haven't got the numbers, although there is a cruise missile coming in. I hate cruise missiles, so let me just get that in there. So now these railguns are going to have the numbers advantage, as in 3-0. A barrage comes down, but it's going to miss the LAVs mostly. These assault ships now looking pretty much pantsed. There are 2 siege cruisers here, but that's not going to be enough to kill this carrier very quickly. And it looks like Garmilator can just walk in here with this carrier, like just click there and basically the game is over. LAV's coming in from the high ground on the back here. The barrage is good and they're going to run right into it. Look at the damage. Lots of damage on those LAVs. Just about half of them got killed right there. Interceptors being deployed now. But I'm getting pushed onto my last base, which doesn't even have any CUs left on it, so things are looking pretty hairy. Barrage comes down on this carrier. It's gonna do good damage. Quite good damage, in fact. And now the carrier's at about 67% health. But there are 3 support cruisers who are healing this carrier, which means it's not going to take very much damage at all. The siege cruisers barraging down the support cruisers, which makes sense. Of course, that's what's been healing these up. And now there's railguns on the field for Garmilator, doing a lot of damage to this siege cruiser, and he's probably going to go down very quickly here. Nothing to be done about that. Actually, he's still alive, but the LAVs are going to come in and finish this, certainly. He does indeed go down. Another siege cruiser produced, though, and a barrage right here. Yep, there he goes. Could be quite effective. A lot of damage coming in on those railguns, especially those 3 in the middle getting killed instantly, but a cruise... oh my goodness. That's the end of that one right there. And I'm going to see it. I'm going to GG out of that. Just, you know, I mean, when all those cruisers go down, like, what's to be done at that point? And that's game. So Garmilator able to use that high ground, able to use the superiority of his LAVs and those turrets to lock me into my base, and then eventually just slowly close the stranglehold until I was dead. That's going to be a good game to him, and we will see him again in round 4. Wait, is this round 4? This is round 4. We'll see him in the brackets. Yeah, I'll talk about the format of the tournament later, perhaps. So that is good game to Garmilator. We can look at the economic stats, actually. I'm interested to see who mined more in this game. It's definitely me. Well, it's pretty close, but Yeah, look at the units lost here. Cruise missiles, man. It's really a shame that, you know, Coalition have got the cruise missile and Galzian don't, especially on that map right there. For some reason, cruise missiles have like high ground advantage too. It's kind of weird. No one's really sure why. But if you're on the high ground and then you fire a cruise missile, it does like the high ground damage bonus, and so like you can just kill things so fast. Especially on the Dune Sea, right? The whole map is like a big high ground, low ground situation, so your carrier is always on the high ground, and so you can just like murder people from there. Anyhow, that's going to be game, and we'll move on to the next game from this round. I got it right this time.